And welcome back. Our word before the break was spy. Oh, Team Fortress 2. One might think that spy would be a knife-wielding, cigar-smoking, masked man. No, the spy is everywhere. Your medic, your pyro, your engineer. The spy will shank you in the back. He will sap your teleporter. He will sap your dispenser. He will even sap your sentry. Trust no one. Everyone is a spy. Well, now that you're more informed, let's move on to our second review.
Ever wanted to play a game that you really had no way of explaining to your friends? Well then, maybe the turn-based, real-time, storybook, action RPG Valkyria Chronicles is the game for you. The story, told by Valkyria Chronicles, is vast and avoids some of the traditional RPG cliches. One of the first things the player will notice as they start up the game is its beautiful mix of anime style and watercolor paintings. Character models look incredible, and watching them in action surrounded by the lush game environments never ceases to be impressive. The game is set in an alternate 1930s Europe in a country called Gallia. Gallia has been swept into an unwanted war because of their rich Ragnite store as a precious energy source. The main character, Welkin Gunther, is simply an unassuming botanist with a war hero father who gets sucked into a war to defend his homeland. As lieutenant, he draws on his knowledge of nature to turn the tide of battles and find new and creative ways of overcoming the Empire. And yes, they do strike back! In time, it becomes evident that the Empire has ulterior motives and for invading Gallia, and they somehow involve the ancient race known as the Valkyria, leading into a very interesting and engaging story that doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of war.
The main high point of Valkyria Chronicles is its battle system. You command a team of up to 10 militia members, including Welkin and his father's tank. You are responsible for forming your army from the game's 5 classes: Scout, Shock Trooper, Lancer, Engineer, and Sniper. Each class has a very distinct advantage and disadvantage. The Scouts are equipped with rifles and can travel the farthest in a single turn. The Shock Troopers are all-around troops. They have machine guns and are great offense or defense. Lancers are equipped with anti-tank lances that look like medieval jousting poles. The Engineers are capable of rebuilding destroyed cover, disarming mines, and repairing your tank. And the Snipers simply do what snipers do. They kill people from really far away. Throughout the course of the game, the combat will begin to feel stale, but the developers at Sega knew this, and they never failed to remedy the issue with an infusion of something entirely new to constantly innovate their already innovative combat system. And each battle is certainly different. The combat system continually gets deeper. As you progress, you earn money and experience. The money can be used to upgrade troops' weapons, armor, and your tank. The experience must be applied manually to your troops. All troops of the same class level up together so that you can choose to have an elite group of scouts and leave your snipers behind.
The one concern we had while playing through the game was that the story might be a little too linear. The game is told as if it were a book about the Gallian War. This means that there is no world map, and the main navigation system equates to a series of menus. This concern, however, turned out to be unwarranted, since Sega manages to make the story be less linear through glossaries, indexes, and side chapters.
We give this game a bye. All in all, Valkyria Chronicles is a wonderful game that breaks the mold of other strategy games. It's a title that should be added to the small list of must-own games for the PlayStation 3. Now back to Greg with our preview for this week.
Thanks for not following in Colin's uncomfortable and awkward footsteps, Emma. Halo Wars, Ensemble Studios' newest addition to the Halo series, ventures off the thoroughly beaten to a bloody pulp FPS path in an attempt to reinventing the gameplay into real-time strategy system. Halo Wars is set 20 years before the Halo incident, in a time when there were armies of Spartans, rather than the just lonely Master Chief. The Covenant are slowly taking over the planet Harvest, and the humans need to make one last push in order to try to take back their planet. The biggest question on everybody's mind, though, is how are the controls? Real-time strategy games have always had notoriously bad controls whenever they've been ported to consoles. However, Halo Wars already has a jump on most games since it's one of the only RTSs to have been designed specifically for a console right from the beginning. And it shows. the camera moves fluidly. Hotkeys are added to either select all units or all units on the screen. The area of unit selection can be made bigger by simply holding down the A button and dragging over units. Build menus are navigated using the joysticks to select one of the options arranged in a circle, and many other improvements that make the game more accessible to console gamers. But has Ensemble Studios simply succeeded at finding a control scheme that works on consoles? Not nearly. They've taken the genre and done many things that have set them apart from the others. For instance, they've actually created terrain on the map. There are small cliffs and broken bridges that warthogs can drop off of or jump across, and it looks gorgeous when they do. The building system is also different from most RTSs. You can't simply plop down buildings whenever you want, all willy-nilly. Nope, you are given a base of a set size with a limited number of build points, and you must manage your space in order to best fit the buildings you want. All in all, Halo Wars looks like it's shaping up to be a pretty great game, and it may very possibly reinvent the whole idea of console real-time strategy gaming. That's it for me. Now we're going back to G for today's matchup.
Yeah, again, thanks, Greg. God. Well, let's wrap up the show with a battle of the fittest. In some cases, a lead character is only as good as their sidekick. Well, if that's the case, then Link and Yoshi are screwed. Our first opponent, hailing from Hyrule, is Navi, blue fairy that acts as Link's sidekick throughout the Ocarina of Time game. After receiving instructions from the Great Deku Tree to assist Link in his quest, Navi acts as his guide, offering clues, hints, and warnings. Sounds like a sweet deal, right? Unfortunately, Navi ends up being as enjoyable as a buzzing alarm clock in a locked room. Navi is widely criticized for being obnoxious and insistent. Sound familiar? Colin, wherever you are? Phrases such as, hey, look, listen, watch out, and hello would be much more appreciated and helpful if they weren't being screeched by the filtering pipsqueak at any possible chance. Although unbearably annoying, Navi does have her strengths. Her paranoid attitude means that she is constantly aware and seemingly ready to snap when needed. She's not the kind of creature that you want to sneak up on you in the dark. She'll probably know where you're coming from, what you ate for lunch, and where you're ticklish.
Our next opponent is usually a lead character, but takes the form of his younger self to make an equally annoying sidekick. Baby Mario, who first appeared in Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, released in 1995, acted as both right-hand man and challenging obstacle, much like most babies. Even though he is a baby, Baby Mario cannot only drive a cart, but he can also play multiple sports just as well as his adult counterpart. Although freakishly gifted for a baby, Baby Mario is no gift himself. Unlike his older self, Baby Mario is both extremely talkative and unrealistically energetic. Perhaps worst of all, this hammer-wielding toddler is a textbook crybaby. Baby Mario can fight enemies, but somehow regresses to normal childlike behavior if he falls or loses. This wouldn't be so bad if the sequel that came out of this top made players feel a little bit more sympathetic and less suicidal.
Well, you heard the deal, so now head over to the Game Over Facebook group and tell us who you think will win. The attention-hungry fairy or the cocky Italian plumber baby. It's a battle of sidekicks of miniature proportions.
Well, that's all we have time for today. Join us next week when Colin returns to try and take my rightful place next to G. Here.
Yeah, Emma, you did a really great job. You're really great, so see you next week. Thanks, high five.